Okay. I warmly welcome you all to FCL Accountants Tuition Center YouTube channel. My name is Luando Franklin, the pioneer of FCL Accountants Tuition Center, as well as the Chief Executive Officer. In today's video, we are going to look at the material mix variance and the yield variance. I'm going to explain the material mix variance. The material mix variance can only be calculated when a product uses more than one type of material, and when these materials can be used interchangeably. I want you to understand we have a material mix variance. We have a material mix favorable variance when there is a higher proportion in the mix of cheaper materials. That will lead to favorable variance. And when we have a higher proportion of expensive materials in the mix, we are going to have the material mix adverse variance. Now, the type of a variance has an impact on the material yield variance. Let's look at the favorable variance. Material mix favorable variance, it means you have used a higher proportion of cheap materials, and in most cases, those materials could be cheaper. And therefore, the material yield variance will be affected negatively. It will be adverse variance. And if we have the material mix adverse variance, it would mean there is a higher proportion of expensive material in the mix, and most likely it will be the material of high quality, and therefore it will have a favorable impact on the material yield. So I've explained those. Now we are going to look at the calculation of these variances. So we have a question here. We have two types of materials, material Y, material X. During period 2,000 kilos of material X costing $4,100, and 2,400 kilos of material Y costing $9,600 were used to produce 500 units of D456 required. Calculate the following variances, the price variances. So we go to the price variances. Price variances. We have two types of materials. So we have material X and material Y. So now, if we had followed the plan, what was going to be the cost should have been, if we had followed the plan here, the plan was $2. $2 multiplied by the quantity, which is 2,000 kilos. This should have been 4,000. If we had followed the planning, the cost is supposed to be 3.6 multiplied by 2,400. If we had followed the plan, the cost could have been 8,640. But the actual result was, actual cost was Here we are given 4,100. The actual cost there was 9,600. So here, the plan was to spend 4,000, but the actual result was 4,100. This is adverse. The variance is adverse. That is not good. You are spending more than you planned. This is adverse. Even there is adverse. The adverse there is 960. Total variance for the two materials. Total variance will be 1060 adverse. So in this case, we have total variance of adverse for those materials, and investigation should be constituted. Why are we spending more than we planned? Then now, material mix variance. I want you to follow properly on material mix variance. You need to do the following. In order to calculate the material mix variance, you need to follow the following steps. Material mix variance. We have the first step there is to find the standard mix. The standard mix is important. Abbreviation standard mix. The standard mix there, we have the mix X. We have 3 kilos. Y, we have 5 kilos. What is the total? The total is 8. So the mix is 3/8 and 5/8. That is the mix. Number 2, you need to find the total quantity used. Total quantity used. Total quantity, abbreviation, total quantity used. The total quantity used here, we have X, we have 2,000 kilos. Y, we have 2,400. 2,400 kilos. Total 4,400. Step 3, we need to find now the standard mix in actual quantity. Standard mix in actual quantity. So for X, we have 3/8 multiplied by the total quantity, 4,400 kilos. And this gives us 1,650 kilos. Y, we have 5/8 multiplied by the total quantity, kilos. There we have 2,750 kilos. After we are done with that, we can now go to the table. We need to make a table. And the table should be as follows. So this part we are done. We go to the table. Or maybe I can use the other part for the table. The space there. Okay, so the table can be done on the space created on the other side. We have the table, material mix, variance. The material mix variance we have material type, then we have standard mix in actual quantity, abbreviation. Then there, actual mix, in actual quantity. Then variance in quantity. Cost per kilo. Variance in dollar. Variance in dollar. We have material X. We have the standard quantity 1650. And actual quantity in actual, this is 2000. So the actual quantity is more than the standard, that is adverse. Adverse of 350. Multiplied by the standard cost per kilo, which is 2. The total will be 700 adverse. Material Y, we have the standard mix is 2750. And actual is 24. We have used less than the standard. That is favorable. And these figures must be the same. Adverse and favorable. If you are getting different figures, there's something wrong. Cost per unit, $3.6. And total favorable, 1250. The variance there is 560 favorable because the favorable figure is higher. So that is how you calculate the material mix variance. Now we can calculate the yield, material yield variance. We can use this part. Material yield variance. Material yield variance. We have the standard input. The total quantity was 4,000 divided by the standard input is 8. Divide by 8. Should have yielded. If you divide, should have yielded 550 units. but did yield 500. Actual yield. Actual yield 500. And there we have 500. The variance is adverse because the plan was to have 550, but the actual result was less. Multiply by the standard cost per unit. Standard cost per unit is 24. The adverse is 1,200. That is the adverse. So for today, we can end here. Please, if you are a new viewer, please remember to subscribe. And also remember to hit the notification button so that you are able to receive the videos when they are available. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for the support that we are getting from you viewers. God bless you.